Sometimes I have clients that are moving into the area for a new job, and they prefer to buy their new home with their mortgage prior to beginning the new job. They have an offer letter or an employment contract, and maybe they want to get their kids started in the school system at the beginning of the school year. So this is a really cool program that allows you to qualify for a mortgage on a job you haven't started yet. My name's Miles Pitcher. I'm the owner of Superior Lending. I'm located in Utah, but always happy to help anyone with any scenarios or questions they have on mortgages. Please remember to like and subscribe to this channel. So these guidelines are going to apply to anyone that has a new job offer, whether it's an offer letter or a contract, and we'll go through details on those. It also applies to future raises. If somebody has a salary job and they know that at the end of the year, they will get their salary raised up. So, but we're primarily going to be talking about the offer letter or the employment contract. And this applies to conventional loans. And you have to still meet all the conventional loan requirements like debt ratios, down payment, credit scores, etc. But we'll talk through the details of the offer letter. So a few key points here. We're going to assume that the new job starts after the loan closes. It must be a primary residence. The employer or seller of the property must not be related or an interested party to the borrower, meaning that if the seller of the home happened to be the employer also, that would be an interested party and that would not work. The new job must begin, you must start your first day on work within 90 days of closing on the mortgage. So that's a pretty generous time period. So let's talk about that offer letter or the contract. It has to be signed by the employer and the new employee or the borrower. And non-contingent means that in that letter, anything in there that says that the employment is subject to or dependent on something happening, those conditions must be met or removed out of the letter. Let me give you an example. If you get hired by like a school district, it probably will have some verbiage in there that says you must pass a background check and a drug test. And that's fine to have in the letter. We just then have to have either the letter or contract revised once those have been solved or passed, or we need an email from the employer saying, yep, we've cleared the drug test and background check. So that's what it means on non-contingent. The terms of the job also must be very clear, such as what the position is, when the start date is, what the salary or hourly rate is, and the numbers of hours expected to work. So it clearly spells out the terms of employment. Now, I missed one key point here that I jumped back, is that if there's commissions or bonuses associated with the position, those will not be counted. Only the hourly or the salary, the fixed income part of this can be counted for qualifying. So the lenders are going to also require you to have some reserves. And there's two options here. Number one, PITIA for 6 months, and that's principal, interest, property taxes, homeowners insurance, and association dues for 6 months. So those need to be available. Or they look at it, the lender will say, all right, how much does it cost for them for their car payment, their student loans, what's the new mortgage? And they total those up, and then they say, look at how long from when the loan closes to the start date of the new job, and then they add 1 month to it. So if you closed on June 1st and you were going to start July 1st, they would total up all the expenses that you have, car payments, student loans, credit cards, plus the new mortgage payment, and then add 1 month. So you'd have 2 months worth there. That's how much you'd have to have in reserves. So that makes sense. It's a very reasonable condition on there. This is a great way for people who are moving in from out of the area to get into their home without having starting their job yet. Otherwise, when somebody moves in out of state, the underwriter says, well, how are they going to pay their bills here? How are they going to earn money? And if they have a new job lined up, this is a great way to do it. Very, very easy to get done. You just have to make sure that in that offer letter, the key points are hit on it. Let me give you an update on rates here. So This is an inverse chart of, as I mentioned every week, as the chart moves down, rates move up. And you can see this is back, going all the way back into last year a little bit, but you can see that we've just been in a trend of rates getting worse on us. Today we have the chairman Fed chair speaking. That's Jerome Powell. So we're watching to see what he says. Some of the news today is over in China that they have been COVID free for several days now. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. However, that is good news in the possibility of supply chain issues getting resolved in the future. So that's good news and could help with some of the inflation issues. Just remember that as long as we continue having inflation, that is the enemy of mortgage rates. That's going to drive rates higher. Again, my name's Miles Pitcher. Always happy to help with any scenarios that you have and give you a second opinion or advice on your mortgage. We'll talk to you next week. Appreciate it.